Hello all and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today guys, it's a video that I thought I would never have to make. My beloved, trusted, reliable Audi A3 breaks down. So as you know, my daily car is my Audi that I've got. This Audi A3 1 litre turbo. I've had it since brand new. I've had it now for the past 8 years, and this car has been absolutely bang on for the past 8 years. I mean, where haven't we taken this car? We've been all sorts, we've been up and down all the country, even further afield. We've even been into Europe several times in this car, and again, as I said, it's been absolutely bang on every single time. So hence the surprise, the shock when this car finally breaks down on me. What I'm gonna do is I made a few clips on the day it actually did break down. This happened about a week ago. I'm gonna be inserting those clips throughout the video, so just do bear with me. I'm trying to paint a full picture here for you guys. So yes, what happened sometime a week ago, I came back from work, and of course the missus wanted to do some shopping for the house. So we went to Aldi. Yes, we like a bargain. So we went to Aldi and went to get some bits and bats in our trusted Audi. However, when we came back into the car park from Aldi and we opened up the car, put the ignition on, and all of a sudden it wasn't ticking past ignition. There was no click whatsoever. There was no sound of anything happening. It was just dead, absolutely dead, in the sense that it was not starting at all. Now, whilst that happened, what did come on though on the dash was all these warning lights and failure lights regarding the braking system on my car. It said all sorts, like braking system failure, this failure, everything to do with braking. It all seemed to have failed completely out of the blue, for reasons completely unknown to me, because like I said, this car has been absolutely faultless for us. It's been bang on. So as you do, I went onto Google and I just punched in on Google what warning lights were coming up on my Audi, and I'll see if I could get an answer from there. Then one of the first things that did come up, which probably was the cheapest as well, was to check your brake fluid. So I did that. I checked my brake fluid. Now, bearing in mind it was quite dark and I wasn't really in the right state of mind, because I was very, very shocked, and looked at the brake fluid, and being see-through, I assumed it was empty. So, well, I looked at it and I couldn't see any liquid in there, so I assumed it was the brake fluid that had finished, and that's why all these lights have now come on, and that's why the car was not starting. That's what I had assumed anyway. So, of course, as I mentioned, I went with my wife, I went with my 3-year-old son. We were abandoned in Aldi car park. So what I had to do was I found the closest petrol station to us, which happened to be a Shell, rather conveniently. And what that also meant is that I had to walk. Now, anybody who knows me knows for an absolute fact that I am not a walker. I don't do that. It's just not me. So I was a bit cheesed off that I had to go and walk to this Shell petrol pump. Now, and lo and behold, needed a wee. Now, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but again, I'm just trying to show the amount of frustration that I went through on that day. So whilst I'm walking, I'm now all of a sudden, and now I need to go to the toilet. So I went to Shell, walked in straight to the bathroom. The bathroom was absolutely revolting. I'm pretty sure I have contracted some form of disease just by using that toilet. But anyway, that's another story. So yeah, we come out of Shell, I find the brake fluid. Luckily, it was there on their shelf. Fantastic. Bought the brake fluid, and now here's me walking back to my car and my family. So in doing so, I've gone back, I've now got there, opened up the brake fluid, and before I did that, I just again did a quick Google search that of how to actually put brake fluid in. Now, bearing in mind, I've had this car for 8 years. I've never actually had to put brake fluid in this car, so I had no idea. Here's me trying to do a DIY job. I went onto Google and they said, oh, you need to bleed your brakes, you need to do this, you need to do that, and all that kerfuffle. So I didn't do any of it, and I watched a video online and it said that when you're putting in the brake fluid, just keep pressing your brakes. So that's exactly what I did. I just wanted to get home at this point. I wanted my car to start. So yeah, that's exactly what I did. When I opened up the brake fluid, started pouring some of it in, I noticed that it had very quickly filled up. So whilst doing that, I realized that it couldn't have possibly have been the brake that was a problem, because there was enough in there. Well, there was enough for the car to start and not for it to throw all these signals and all these warning lights about. So again, I'm very confused at this point. I go back, I've topped up the brake fluid, I've come back in the car, started it, or tried starting again, put my ignition in, it's come up again with all of these warning lights, braking system, this, that. It's absolutely the same. Nothing's actually happened. It stayed the exact same. The same warning lights came on, the ignition wasn't ticking, there was absolutely nothing. So what I did do then is I called my dad. Of course. So I called my dad and this is what's happened. So just to update you guys, I did a quick Google search as I mentioned earlier on. It suggested that I should top up my brake fluid. It looked empty to me, but it wasn't actually. I put some in and it's still showing the same problem. So now I've called my dad. So let's see what he can do. So as I said, the car's not actually starting at all. It's stuck in ignition mode. So I'm just sat here waiting now. It suggested that could be an electronic failure perhaps. I think it's that my dad's got an OBD scanner. Just waiting for him. Let's see what it comes up with. But yeah, I'll let you know. So yeah, as you would have seen in those clips, I mentioned my dad had an OBD scanner. That's the only thing that came to mind. I spoke to him because I've got one. Let me come around and we'll plug it in and we'll see if we can clear whatever fault seems to have occurred. Now, eventually it came, plugged in the OBD into the port, and it came up with a whole array of problems. A whole array. I think there were about 17 different issues that he had picked up on. So we did clear it and tried starting it again and again. Nothing happened. It stayed the same. All the same warning lights. Absolute failure. The car, I had to abandon my beloved Audi in the car park. Honestly, it hurt me. It really did hurt me. That. Left it there. The next morning is when my recovery guy was available. So he came, picked up the car and brought it to our local garage, who we've been using for quite some time. What we did is that before we actually put it in the garage, we wanted to have another go. I've got a family member who's quite clued up with the VAG group. Any vehicles to do with the VAG group is very clued up. So what his advice was, let's just get it parked up near the garage. As I couldn't start the car, it was completely dead in the sense that it wasn't doing anything. Let's get it recovered there. He did also suggest that it could be a battery problem. I didn't personally believe that it was a battery issue, because all of the lights were coming on, all of the interior lights were coming on, the car was locking and unlocking, you know, it was absolutely fine. I didn't assume that, but to ensure that we had done everything that we could have done to get the car started, we did try that. My dad put on a booster and again it didn't do nothing, it just stayed dead. So in the end anyway, like I was saying, we got the recovery guy to come. He recovered the vehicle and he brought it to the street of where the garage that I was intending of using. So fast forward a couple of days, finally get my family member to come with his computer. Now he's got an official computer, again a very professional setup that he's got. So he brings his computer around, his laptop, plugs it into my car, and it brings up the same 17 or 18 faults that we had seen previously on the OBD scanner that my dad had, the very basic one. So once that was plugged in, again we tried clearing it. We tried clearing those faults and the same issue occurred, where all the warning lights were coming on, everything to do with braking, and there was no, the car was not taking over at all. So the key was just turning, but there was no sounds whatsoever of the car trying to start. Then, very luckily, this family friend of ours had a brainwave, and he goes, actually, this has happened one time before on a Skoda that he owned. And what he decided to do is he pulled off the battery lead. He pulled off the battery leads. He pulled out every single fuse of the car, put them back on without wiping it, put on all the fuses, put them all back in, and came back into the car, all in front of me, by the way, and started it. And guess what? It started right away. I couldn't tell you how relieved I was, because here was me thinking that I've got a big bill coming my way. I had absolutely no idea the car's not starting at all, and I was just prepared. I was just prepared for a unwanted bill. But yeah, that's all it was in the end. That's all it needed. It just needed a reset in the sense of pulling the battery cables off, pulling the fuses out, plugging it all back in, and honestly, the car started in the first instance. It's now been 9 or 10 days since this all happened. Again, like I said, this Audi is my daily car. I drive it every single day to work and back, dropping my wife off. Absolutely bang on. It's been perfect. So, firstly, big thank you to my family member. Doesn't want to be named, but yeah, big thank you to him. He saved me from a lot of money. So now the question is, why did all of this come about? So I spoke to this family member of mine, and I asked him, you know, what possibly could have happened for this to have all been initiated. He goes, of course, like I said, a similar problem happened to a Skoda of his that he once used to own. So when I did ask him the question, the reason why it happened to his previous Skoda, it was because actually that someone tried to steal the vehicle. Someone actually tried to steal it, and what they did, they put these signal, I don't know what the right terminology is right now, I'm no car thief, but they put some sort of signal blocker on there, which corrupted or confused the ECU of the vehicle, and for that reason it threw all of this, it threw a tantrum like it did in my car, and the car was not starting. Again, he did the exact same thing in that Skoda, what he did to mine, and it's worked both times. So what he came to the conclusion of is that it appears that someone tried stealing your car, perhaps. I've had a look online after that as well, and there's nothing literally on it. I couldn't find anything that relates to this. So it seems to be a bit of a grey area as to what's actually happened. But given that's what happened to his previous car, I can only be left to assume that's what happened to my beloved Audi as well. Guys, moral of this story, that if you ever encounter such a problem which is related to do with electronic issues, most importantly, please, I urge you, just try. If you can't do it yourself, maybe speak to someone who knows about this, but just literally try pulling off your battery leads and your fuses first before actually doing and trying anything else, because that may be the fix, which will cost you absolutely nothing. So guys, that is a bit of consumer advice for you there. A bit of consumer advice if you were to encounter such a problem. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was insightful. Anyone who has has been through something similar, I urge you to try this, and hopefully this fixes your problem as well with your car. And yeah, let me know what else could have happened, or if anybody out there knows what else may have triggered this. I'll be very, very eager to know. Yeah, do drop a comment if you have any other ideas as to how this may have come all about. So guys, I'm gonna love you and leave you. Hope you have a lovely weekend. Got some great weather ahead of us. Make the most of it, and I shall see you in another video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Take care, guys. Bye bye.